So I bought a house last year without ever seeing it in person. And no, it wasn't an investment property. It wasn't a second home. The house was my primary home, where I live, where I'm sitting right now. And I never saw it in person until I was the owner. So scary. Okay, so in this video, I'm gonna tell you how to do that and be successful. Because the bottom line is this: buying a house without seeing it is a gamble. It's that simple. However, it can be an educated gamble if you make sure that the people you're working with are experts. So let's dig into it. Since 2020, we've seen a huge migration across the country. You know, look, active military members are buying houses without seeing them all the time, but beyond active military, that is becoming very common across the United States because people are fleeing to other states for affordability. In many cases, they don't have the ability to go to the state they're moving to really check it out. So they are depending on pictures, the real estate agents, and what they can find online. So in this video, I'm gonna break down to you, as a mortgage lender for the last 19 years, you know, as one of the top purchase lenders in America who sees the good, the bad, and the ugly of this, what did I do so that I was successful? Because if you watch this channel, you know I'm conservative, I don't like risk, I don't waste my money, and I don't wanna play any games. I don't wanna play any games. And this is important. And the reason I say this is there was actually a case a couple of years ago. It was a really sad case. A gentleman had bought a house remote, not my client. And when he got to the house, he walked in the house, turned around, drove to the real estate agent's office and shot them. Yeah, killed them, point blank, dead. And you're like, wow. He said the guy had lied to him, that everything he had said about the house was wrong. Look, buying a house remote, you are counting on the real estate agent to be your eyes and your ears, as well as recognizing if the house is a good investment, if you're gonna like it. You're counting on the real estate agent to anticipate some of the needs or problems you may see with the house, okay? So, number one, expert real estate agent. No, nothing in between that, okay? Expert or nothing. If you can't find an expert real estate agent, and I'm gonna tell you some of the hallmarks in a minute, you need to go to that house. You need to go to that house. Do not trust anyone unless they meet these parameters. I don't care if it's your cousin's sister's best friend. I don't care if it's your sister-in-law, unless you really, really trust her. They need to be a master agent. How to spot them? Reviews. Reviews are huge, guys. Look, when I was buying this house, the agent I used had over 55-star reviews, tons of details. People were saying, you know, this person went the extra mile. I use Sandy Miller in Jacksonville. Love her. Love her. She goes the extra mile. She is blunt. She's going to tell me things I never knew. That is who you want. Also, I verified how many houses have you sold in the last year? And you're like, well, I asked the agent, they said they sold a lot. No, go to Zillow, guys. I don't like Zillow as a company, but some of their data is really good. And in most parts of America, if you type in the real estate agent's name and like Becky Jones, Ohio, and pick the town, realtor, Zillow, it will come up and it will tell you how many sales they've had within the last year. It will also show you the price point, okay? So if, for instance, you're looking at $1 million house, you are recommended to Becky Jones. You look at Becky Jones, she sold 12 houses, every single one's $200,000. Would I trust Becky Jones to help me buy $1 million house? No, it's not her market. Absolutely not. She's not going to know what to look for in that $1 million house versus 200,000, and vice versa. You know, if you have an agent where all they do is sell $1 million houses and you're looking at a 200,000, they may be like, well, it's 200,000 to everything, even when it's not supposed to be like that. So making sure the agent has done a good amount of sales, making sure they have reviews, reading the reviews, looking for patterns, and verifying the price point they sell. That is your bare minimum. That's it. That's your bare minimum. And if you're like, I don't want to do all that, go see the house. Go see the house. We're talking about a lot of money here. And look, I think that gets glossed over in real estate far too much. Everyone gets like, oh, we'll buy a house, do this, it's okay, everything. No, if you won't do the research to make sure that you're working with an expert agent, and yeah, this could take you hours, it could take you days to find the right person. You should call and interview them too. make sure you're a good match. If you don't want to do that work, you need to go see the house in person, period. Okay. Now, the next thing is that when you're selecting this agent, because look, in Jacksonville, there's a lot of good agents, there's a lot of good reviews, but I wanted to make sure I didn't end up with a Sunshine Sally. A Sunshine Sally is someone where everything's great, always. And you're like, that sounds great, Jen. Why don't you want that? Because I want someone who's going to be real and tell me what might be a problem. You know, for instance, Sandy, when she was doing the FaceTime tour of this house, she wasn't showing me all the pretty stuff. She was showing me the stuff she thought would annoy me. For instance, this house has multiple flights of stairs. So she was huffing and puffing as she went up them. Is Sandy out of shape? No, guys, Sandy's in great shape, but she knows that I don't do cardio. So I think she was showing me how I would be feeling if I went up and down the stairs. You know, it's Florida, it has a pool, and there's a huge tree over the pool. And she's like, Jen, you're gonna have leaves in this pool 24 hours a day. It's gonna be full shade, blah, 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 blah. She was showing me the negatives. Now, of course, she also showed me the positives, but let's be real. The listing agent had shown me all the positives in the photos. So when Sandy was going through the house, she did a FaceTime with me. She did not want to do a video. And I was like, why don't you want to do a video? You know, just video it, send it to me. She's like, no, you need to be on the phone because you need to ask me questions and have me move the way that you want me to move as if I were you. And at the time I was like, oh, Sandy, you're just being extra. I really appreciate it now because being able to do that, it was like I was going through the house, okay? And her pointing out stuff like, you know, hey, that door doesn't look right, or this, you're gonna have to fix this, you know, this is what the colors look like in person, etc. It was incredibly helpful. A Sunshine Sally, and if you're like, how do I know if I have one, Jen? You did all the reviews. If they're doing the FaceTime tour, and let's just say this is Sally. I'm Sally. Hi, I'm talking to you. Okay, let me show you the hallway. Let's say this wall's all mold, okay? And you're like, and I'm like, look at the hallway. It's so beautiful. And you're like, okay, Sally, can you turn a little to the right? Yeah, let's just go down the hallway to the next room. Not much over here. Let's go. They're showing you the sunshine. They're keeping all the rain away from you. And I would be a little hesitant on that. If you guys, you know, they pass the first test of all the reviews and everything, but they say they won't do FaceTime, they won't do videos, they won't do any of that, don't hire them. Honestly, they should be willing to walk through the house with you on FaceTime or a similar platform. Otherwise, don't work with them. I think with Sandy, we actually did WhatsApp. So if you don't have an iPhone, there's WhatsApp as well that you can do those tours with, and it works out great. If they won't do that, don't work with them. You need to be able to kind of test and go, okay, can you turn right? What does that look like? Can you put that down? Can you put that up? Because those are your eyes, okay? So number one, real estate agent. Number two, home inspector. Start researching now. If you go, well, I'll just go with whoever my real estate agent says, sometimes that can work, but you still need to actually research them. So in this case, we asked Sandy, hey, who do you recommend? But then I researched the bejesus out of them. You know, in the case of who we used, they had over 1,000 reviews with lots of details. They had a whole system. You know, when they did the inspection, they sent out 5 people because each person did something different. Like one specialized in plumbing, one specialized in electrical. You know, they specialized in all these different things. And every single one of them FaceTimed me at the end of the inspection to walk me through what they found. Okay. And you're like, oh, FaceTime again. Yes. And look, I hate FaceTime. Like I have clients where they're like, can we FaceTime? I'm like, no. Like you will see me in a video, but not on I hate FaceTime so much. But it was so useful because they'd be like, hey, here's something we see with we have this huge tree. They're like, with the tree and the plumbing. And I'm like, okay, can you show that? They're like showing it. It's like I was there. Okay. So once again, you're going to need a home inspector where you're looking at all the reviews, you're verifying them, you can interview them, but also they have to be willing to walk you through the report and then FaceTime you. And if they won't do that, what are we gonna do again? Bye. God, I hope that didn't break. I didn't, I have a red light, Kate. Anyways, okay. Okay, what else? You gotta do some research yourself. That's right, you do. And you're like, well, Jen, I've got the expert, I've got the home inspector, I've got you as my lender, like I am set. Yes, but look, even though I had the expert, even though I knew my mortgage was set, even though I knew I had the home inspector, I had to do my research. Number one, Google Earth. Google Earth is your best friend. So whenever I'm looking at houses, I'd go on Google Earth. I want to see what's around it. I swear, when I was looking for a house, I would see a house. It'd be near the beach. And I'd be like, oh my God, Mark, we can afford this. And then we'd go on Google Earth. Every single time it was right next door to a sewage treatment plant. Every time. It was so annoying. So you want to go on Google Earth because the listings don't show this to you. Listings are like fairy tales. Don't trust the pictures. Don't trust the words. It's all a pack of lies. Go on Google Earth and see what's around the house. You know, I've had clients where we've pulled up the property, everything looks amazing on Zillow. They've actually walked the property, and then I go on Google Earth and I'm like, hey, there's a pig farm, you know, a quarter of a mile away. How do you feel about that? Anyone who's ever lived near a pig farm knows that a quarter mile away is not far enough unless you like the smell of pig, right? So Google Earth will show you all of that. Also, sometimes it can give you some great aerial views of the property as well as the neighbors, which can be helpful. Once again, it's your choice if you want to move next to a hoarder, but you want to know if that's occurring. And the odds your real estate agent will go and show you that, hard to say. You know, with Sandy, Sandy was great, guys. She went outside, she walked the whole street for me. She was interrogating people as they walked by with their dogs. I'm not kidding. She's like, hey, do you like living here? Like, she knows I don't like hearing barking dogs. So she's asking everyone on the streets, when you walk your dog, like, where do you hear the barking? And they were like pointing out houses. It was awesome. It was great. That's what you want. Okay, that's what you want. You want that person that's going to interrogate the neighbors lovingly. And she's so charming that they're just like walking their dogs and having a great time. I don't think they should door knock. I wouldn't want her doing that. That's crazy and dangerous. But okay, so you're going to do Google Earth. Also do Google Maps. The reason is Google Maps will show you, because you're like, well, it's residential, Jen. Why do I? People have home businesses that could be a problem. Like, maybe you don't want to live next to Gary's auto shop because he's going to be working on cars right next door all day, every day. Maybe Barbara down the street has a dog boarding company where she has 26 dogs in her backyard. That's going to be noisy. Sometimes just looking at Google Maps, you'll see businesses that you may find problematic. Okay? Your choice. Like, personally, if you watch this channel, you know I'm super noise sensitive. So if I went on Google Maps and I saw that the house that backed up to a house I was gonna buy was a daycare, no, God, no, my kid's grown, guys. My kids are grown. I don't wanna hear that. I don't wanna hear, I want a popsicle. No. So look, you may not have any of those pet peeves, but it's fun to know anyways. I mean, it could be helpful if you could be like, great, I can drop my kids off at that daycare. What else? If you're looking at a property that's on a well, I would recommend the US government actually has a website where you can look up the water tables. I would look at that. And the reason I say that is water is something people do not talk about enough. Everybody assumes if you have a well, you have water. No. Sometimes you're running out of water, and that's why someone's selling the property, is because, and you're like, well, I'll just dig a new well. Oh, it's not easy, guys. It is like, go down the rabbit hole on putting in a new well and finding water and witching and all the crazy stuff. Do that and then circle back with me on that, okay? So look at the data tables. The other thing I did is I don't want to buy a house that's in an Airbnb heavy area to live in. That is my personal preference, but also I've had so many clients who have come to me where they're selling a house because it's in an Airbnb area and it's driving them crazy. You know, this is something I see a lot in Las Vegas. You know, people bought houses 10, 20 years ago, and now those developments are filled with Airbnbs. You know, there's constant noise. They don't like it. So when I was looking for a property, I'm like, okay, who does not allow short-term rentals? That's where I want to live. So I was looking at city council notes. I was looking at Facebook groups. I was looking at everything I could. You know, I like nature. So when I saw that the town I was moving in are really restrictive on allowing people to cut trees down, I wasn't like, oh no, they want to control me. I was like, oh, this is great. they're going to control everyone and we're going to keep our trees, right? You may see that and be like, what? I can't cut down a tree in my yard without permission? Not a good place for you to live, right? That's why you want to look at these notes. Or if you're looking at a house to buy it as an Airbnb, like, yeah, you should know if it's legal or not. So go down the rabbit hole there as well. Now, here's a fun fact. I could have flown and seen this house in person. The reason I didn't was twofold. First of all, I've got clients across the country doing this every single day. And I was like, I've seen a lot of people be very successful. I knew I had the right team. I knew with the research I was doing, the home inspector, Sandy, that it was like I was there. But confession, if you got this far in the video, you're getting a Jennifer Beeston truth. It's like an Easter egg. I've hated every house I've ever bought. Like when I've gone and I've seen them, it's always been a house I don't want. So with this one, I didn't ever see it. So I never hated it. And I know you're like, well, why would you buy a house that you hate? Because I do the math on it. I do the math and it's like, the house in California, I still have it. I love it. I love it now. I totally remodeled it. But when I was buying it, I wasn't super excited about it at all, because I knew it was going to be a lot of work, but I knew it was a good buy. It's like head versus heart. So I didn't want to just go through that again. And I was curious about what this experience would be like. And I have to tell you guys this. If I had actually come to this house, I probably wouldn't have bought it because I know the rational Jennifer brain would have gone, it has 3 flights of steps. You're going to get tired. How are you going to carry up your suitcase? Whereas I saw Sandy huffing and puffing. I giggled a little bit. In reality, I love it. I'm coughing because I do so much exercise now. I love it. I love it. I wouldn't have bought it if I had walked through it, but the fact that I didn't see it in person and I made the decisions based off of all of the data and, Sandy's eyes, I love this house. I love this house. I cannot describe it to you guys. It's like, and maybe it's just because I didn't have the negative impression when I was first buying it. So just a weird take, a weird ending to the video, but a different perspective because people often think when you're buying a house, you love it at first. Not always. And in this case, I did love it at first and I loved it all the way through. And it's because I never had the chance to get in that negative Jennifer headspace. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope the video was helpful. If you need a mortgage lender for your epic home buying journey, give the team and I a call. Yes, we have over 1,000 Google reviews. Yes, you will see that every single person on my team really cares. They're all like me. We're all friends. We have a great time. We love taking care of you. Give us a call, 786-933-2077. Thanks for watching.